It's 10 trivia questions on Letterkenny, again, for Patreon subscriber Tonya Charles. This is Trivia with Buds. What it be, and welcome to another episode of the Trivia with Buds podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Buds. Thanks for checking out the show, and thanks for telling a friend who loves Letterkenny to listen to this episode. My friend Tonya Charles is a Patreon subscriber, and she wanted another episode of Letterkenny. We've done it once before, maybe about a year ago, 6 months ago. It's one of my favorite Canadian sitcoms, and I'm waiting for, I think, season 12 is the newest one to come out, maybe in December of this year is what I just Googled. So hopefully that comes out soon, and we can catch up on more hilarious Letterkenny. They're all on Hulu if you have never watched it. It's one of those shows that takes you like a season or two to get into, but they're only like 6 episodes, and they're pretty short. It's not for everybody, probably, but it's very unique, and I dig it. Today's episode on Letterkenny starting in just a minute. Before we get to that, we've got our categories warm-up game, the letter G. Things you sit in or on, names used in the Bible, in cosmetics or toiletries. Ooh, none of those are coming to my head right away. Things you sit in or on, names used in the Bible, and cosmetics and toiletries. We'll have my 3 answers for those at the end of the episode, as well as a fact of the day, and you can come up with some on your own. And if you ever have fun facts of the day that you want to share, I would love those for future episodes. Email ryanbuds@gmail.com anytime, or find me on social media at ryanbuds on everything. All right, we're warmed up, and we're diving into Letterkenny Trivia number 2. Here we go. It's Letterkenny Trivia once again. Here's question number 1. What 5-letter word do Riley and Jonesy call Katie? Number 1, what 5-letter word do Riley and Jonesy call Katie? Question number 2, what instrument solo does Glenn play at the youth group meeting? Number 2, what instrument solo does Glenn play at the youth group meeting? Question number 3, what's the preferred chip flavor after many arguments in Letterkenny? Number 3, what is the preferred chip flavor in Letterkenny? Question number 4, Wayne says he can watch little kids falling off what all day long? Number 4, Wayne says he can watch little kids falling off what all day long? Question number 5, what type of animal gives Daryl rabies? What type of animal gives Daryl rabies? Number 6, what animal does the hockey coach often yell at his players? What animal name does the hockey coach often yell at his players? Number 7, what singer is brought up in harsh tones when the Hicks go ice fishing and meet their French-Canadian counterparts? Number 7, what singer is brought up in harsh tones when the Hicks go ice fishing and meet their French-Canadian counterparts? Number 8, what word that Katie hates is mentioned by Daryl when he's taking off his boots after a day of chorin'? Number 8, what word that Katie hates is mentioned by Daryl when he's taking off his boots after a day of chorin'? Question number 9, when one of the Hicks' second cousins moves to Los Angeles, Wayne mentions how people in LA need to stop talking about what? Number 9, Wayne mentions how people in LA need to stop talking about what? Number 10, on the first episode, who is Wayne's first opponent with a rhyming name to be the toughest in Letterkenny? When Wayne's fighting people on the first episode of Letterkenny, what is his first opponent's name with a rhyming name? And number 11 for 2 points, what drink does Wayne compare Stuart's horn to? Number 11 for 2 points, what drink does Wayne compare Stuart's horn to? Those are all your questions for Letterkenny Trivia. Once again, we'll be back with the answers after this. We are back with the answers to Letterkenny Trivia. Let's see how you did. Question number 1. What 5-letter word do Riley and Jonesy call Katie? Snipe. S-N-I-P-E. Snipe. Number 2, what instrument solo does Glenn play at the youth group? A didgeridoo. You don't see those too often. Didgeridoo. Number 3, the perfect chip flavor in Letterkenny is all dressed, which I just bought. They had, I think it was kettle cooked Ruffles, all dressed. Some kind of hybrid. But it said Canada's favorite chip flavor on the bag. Number 4, Wayne says he can watch little kids falling off bikes all day long. Little kids falling off bikes all day long. Number 5, the possum is the animal that gives Daryl rabies. Number 6, what animal name does the coach often yell at his players? Pheasants, which is a fun, I don't know why it's derogatory, but it's like, pheasants, you pheasants. It's great. Number 7, what singer is brought up in harsh tones when the Hicks go ice fishing and meet their French-Canadian counterparts? This reminded me of the episode of Seinfeld, the Bizarro Jerry, with Jerry, George, and Kramer, and they're all very friendly to each other, and they read books. Celine Dion, number 7. Number 8, what word that Katie hates is mentioned by Daryl when he's taking off his boots after a day at chorin? Moist. He says he doesn't want his feet getting all moist, and she hates that. Number 9, when one of the Hicks' second cousins moves to L.A., Wayne mentions how people in L.A. need to stop talking about tacos. This is a great little discussion on the show, and very true. When I meet people from California in Tennessee now, the number one thing people mention is, I miss the Mexican food. And I like Mexican food, but to me, the places I ate at in L.A. or California, I mean, to me, I'm kind of with Wayne on this one. I think all tacos are pretty good. I've never had a taco that was so astonishingly better than another taco that I'd be like, I miss those tacos. But that's just me. Number 10, on the first episode, who is Wayne's first opponent with a rhyming name to be toughest in Letterkenny? Sled Ted. Loves snowmobiling. Sled Ted. And the bonus, what drink does Wayne compare Stewart's horn to? If you know what the horn reference is, this will be funny. If not, hey. Tall boy can of Red Bull. Wayne compares Stewart's horn to a tall boy can of Red Bull. And we'll just leave it at that. That is your Letterkenny Trivia. Hope you had a good time playing along. And your fact of the day is some research proves that pickle juice can reduce muscle cramps. So chug that pickle juice once you've eaten all the pickles from the jar, like my brother Scott does. He's a weirdo. You can be just like him. No muscle cramps, though. And we have categories. Things you sit on or in. Starting with the G. How about the ground? You sit on the ground sometimes, like in grade school. Names used in the Bible: Gabriel. In cosmetics or toiletries, gabagool. No, you don't put that on your face. Guava mask. I feel like that's in the bathroom upstairs. My wife might have something with guava in it that's like for your face. Well, that's a weird answer and probably not accurate, but there you have it. Those are my answers. Hopefully you came up with some better ones. You can always let me know on social media at Ryan Buds on just about everything. And thanks so much for listening. And go to my website for your holiday parties, triviawithbuds.com. And appreciate you telling a friend about the show. And we'll see you next time for more Trivia with Buds. Cheers.